Welcome to Science Store online classes.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Well, dear students, let us move to the next set of problems of today's class, that is question number 12. Now, these three problems are very unique because you have a situation, alright, where you have got limit of x into sine 2 by x as x tends to infinity. Alright. So, if you directly apply the limit, this will be infinity, alright, and this is sine 2 by infinity is 0. So, that is sine 0, correct, sine 0 is 0, you are getting infinity into 0. So, infinity multiplied with 0 is also indeterminate, okay, because infinity is kind of 1 by 0. So, you are getting 0 by 0 form, okay, that is indeterminate. This is also indeterminate. We cannot find it, we cannot determine it, alright. So, therefore, this is a different kind of indeterminate form related problem. So, how do we tackle it? So, please understand a formula, alright. So, if limit as x tends to a, f of x is 0, then limit the same limit x tends to a sine f of x divided by f of x will be 1, alright. Similarly, limit as x tends to a tan f of x divided by f of x will also be 1, alright. So, remember these formulas, and even this applies to sine inverse f of x by f of x, tan inverse f of x by f of x, all those things will be 1. Okay. Now, let me get back to this problem. Now, what do you select as f of x? Alright. So, now it is not so clear. Therefore, we will rearrange that. So, how do I rearrange this? Alright. So, first of all, let me keep this on one side so that we can refer it back. So, shall I write it here? Well, so if limit x tends to a f of x is 0, not 1, 0, then limit x tends to a sine f of x divided by f of x will be 1. Alright, so keep that formula in your mind. Let us rearrange that in order to get this form. Okay, so how we can do that? So, what is f of x by the way? What is f of x by the way? Sine f of x, correct? So, this is sine f of x. So, what is there in the place of f of x? 2 by x. So, f of x is 2 by x. So, you have got the numerator part of this formula, sine f of x. But you need to have f of x in the denominator. So, f of x is 2 by x. So, you should have 2 by x in the denominator, right. So, this is sine 2 by x, and if you take this to the denominator, that will be 1 by x or not, correct, because when it goes to the numerator, it will be x by 1. So, this is x by 1. So, when you bring it to the denominator, it will be 1 by x. That is a basic thing to understand. Now, I need 2 by x. Therefore, I should multiply by 2 and divide by 2. Okay. So, I am multiplying by 2 and dividing by 2. Then, let me separate the things that I need. See, what do I need? I need this 2 by x, and here I need 2 by x, alright. And this 2 I do not need. So, that 2 I will take it to the numerator, this 2, correct. So, that is 1 by 2 goes up, becomes 2 by 1. Well, so now I can perfectly use this formula, limit x tends to a f of x. If it is 0, then I can straight away write this answer is 1, and don't forget this 2. So, it will be 2 into 1, eventually it will be 2, but I have to make sure that I get 0 for this limit. So, how do I check it? Understand, limit as x tends to a, what is a for me? Infinity. And what is f of x? 2 by x, right? Is it equal to 0? So, when x becomes infinity, what will happen? Alright. So, if you do not understand this, I will explain to you using substitution method. What I will do is, I will take 2 by x is equal to y. Now, as x becomes infinity, what happens to y? As x becomes infinity, 2 by infinity, which is 0, correct? So, this whole limit becomes limit y tends to 0, and that will be y. So, when y becomes 0, limit of y will be 0 only, no? So, this is 0, correct? So, you can understand that directly. This is just, I think, confusion for you, okay? So, do not be confused. When x becomes infinity, 2 by infinity will be 0, just understand that way. So, you have got that. Then, what will be limit x tends to infinity? X tends to infinity, I am sorry, that is not 0, infinity. Sin f of x by f of x. So, this 2 can be directly taken outside the limit, because limit is applicable only there is a variable, okay. So, this part will be 1. So, that is 2 into 1, hence the answer is 2, option C is the right answer. So, please remember this form, okay. So, that is 1 only if the limit f of x as x tends to a is 0. Well, so the next question is also a similar form. So, let me express that in this form, then you will understand. But instead of sign we have got tan, even that should be kept in mind. Alright, so let me write that here. So, we have now tan. Alright, so the formula is applicable even for tan. Now, a little manipulation is necessary here, because you have got x tends to 1, okay. So, tan x square minus 1 is what you have. So, that is f of x. So, what is f of x by the way? X square minus 1. Well, so if x square minus 1 is f of x, we must have that in the denominator as well, correct? We must have that in the denominator. But what do you have in the denominator? X minus 1. So, that must become x square minus 1. Can you say that I can multiply by x and divide by x? No, that will be x square minus x. It will not be x square minus 1. So, what shall we do then? What shall we do? What shall we do? X minus 1 is what you have. We need x square minus 1. Yes. Say this is a square minus b square form. Alright. So, you have a minus b. What else you need? A plus b. So, you need x plus 1. So, whenever you multiply by it, even divide, or you can multiply the numerator and the denominator by that. Alright. So, did you understand why did we do that? In order to get x square minus 1. So, now this is so much understandable. So, this is x tends to 1 and here you have got x plus 1. Well, and tan x square minus 1 divided by x square minus 1. Well, so did you get the form tan f of x by f of x? Yes. And when you apply the limit to f of x, do you get 0? That is the only thing you got to check now. So, when limit x tends to, what is a now? A is 1, so 1. What about f of x? F of x is x square minus 1. Okay. Now, when x tends to 1, that is 1 square, which is 1. So, it is 1 minus 1, that means you get 0. So, this condition is satisfied. So, if this condition is satisfied, then the answer of limit tan f of x by f of x when limit x tends to a will be 1. Alright. So, that will be 1. Well, I hope you understood that. So, when you apply the limit here, you will get 1, but what about this? You have a variable, so limit is applicable to that as well. You cannot take that out because that is not a constant. Okay. So, we have to apply the limit separately. Let me write one more step then. So, limit x tends to 1, x plus 1 into limit x tends to 1 tan x square minus 1 divided by x square minus 1. Well, so that will be 0. See, if you do not know, I mean if you did not still understand this formula, there is another way of understanding that. See what happens to this, what happens to this? You have a formula that is 1, right? Sin x by x is also 1 when limit x tends to 0. Most of you did not take care of this part. You just remembered sin x by x is 1, tan x by x is 1. No, only when you have limit x tends to 0, tan x by x will be 1. So, limit of tan x by x as x tends to 0 is 1. Alright. So, similarly, when x becomes 1, what happens to tan x square minus 1 by x square minus 1? See, this part will be 0, right, when x becomes 1. So, similarly, when x becomes 0, this part will be 0, correct. So, now these two parts will become 0. So, it is not 0 by 0, tan 0 is 0. So, it is not 0 by 0, it is 1 actually according to the formula that we have derived for sin x by x as limit x tends to 0, right. So, according to that formula it is 1, therefore, this is also 1 because of this situation. So, instead of x we have got f of x now, that is the only difference. Alright. So, now you got to apply the limit here and you got to apply the limit here as well. So, this part will be 1, and what about this when x becomes 1? That will be 1 plus 1. So, 1 plus 1 into 1. So, that is 2 into 1, which is 2, right. So, therefore, the answer is 2 here, and that is in the option A. So, option A is the answer for 13th question. Let us move to the last question of limits, that is question number 14. Alright, now again of the same kind, but with a difference. You have sine and cos with the same angle, and this is the variable, identify that. Okay, so x is the variable and you have got x here as well. Alright, so having said that, now on the outside let me introduce to you one more formula here. So, trigonometry formula which you know already. So, what is sin x into cos x? Alright, let me give you a hint. What is 2 sin x cos x? That is sin 2x. Well, so what will you do with that 2? You take it to the other side. So, what is sin x into cos x? Sin 2x by 2, right. So, that is exactly I am going to write in this place. Alright, so let me write that directly. So, limit as x tends to infinity. Let me keep that x as it is, and then sin 2x, correct. So, if you have got x here, that will be 2 times, but here you have got 2 pi by 3x. So, that will be 2 times 2 pi by 3x, and whole divided by 2, do not forget this. Well, So now you have got only one trigonometric function. So now I think you can use this formula where you have got sine. All right, but we got to check what is f of x and whether it is 0 or not when you apply the limit. And what is a here? Infinity. Fine. So now I need to have that f of x in the denominator as well, correct? Then only I can use this formula sin f of x by f of x. So what is f of x? First of all, multiply this 2, that will be 4 pi by 3x is f of x. So let me write that clearly first. So limit x tends to infinity, here you have got ax. Let it be like that. We'll see what we can do with that later. And this has to be multiplied. So 4 pi by 3x is the angle, and I have got only 2 here. So what else do I need? I have got 2, so I need that, correct? So 2 pi by 3x I got to multiply in the numerator as well as in the denominator. So 2 pi by 3x multiplied to the numerator and denominator. So next, say I can cancel out this x. So limit x tends to infinity. What remains here is 2 pi by 3 and the sine 4 pi by 3x divided by, here also when I multiply this 2 I get 4 pi by 3x. Now did you get the form of sine f of x by f of x? Yes, you got that, sine f of x by f of x. Now what's remaining is you have to check whether limit of that f of x as x becomes a is 0 or not. So what is a, by the way? A is infinity. And what is f of x? 4 pi by 3x. All right. So I am checking this. So limit x tends to infinity, 4 pi by 3x. What happens to this? See, 4 pi by 3 is a constant. So let me take that out. And I should apply the limit only to 1 by x. So what happens to this? As x becomes infinity, 1 by infinity is 0, right? So 4 pi by 3 into 0. So that is 0 itself. So I got 0. So that tells me that the limit value of this is 1. So that is 2 pi by 3 can be taken outside. You have that liberty. Okay. So 2 pi by 3 can be taken outside, and this limit is x tends to infinity, and when you apply the limit, that total part will be 1. So this is 2 pi by 3 into 1, which is 2 pi by 3 itself. So the answer is 2 pi by 3, and that's in the option B. Hence the 14th question has generated B as the answer. Well, so that completes the chapter of limits, and next we'll move to the concept of derivatives. Well, so that's it for today's class. Thank you for watching.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.